Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our /MaliciousCompliance. In today's episode, if that's what you really want, Karen. Grad student told me to do things their way. You want me to charge you the real price? You got it, chief. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. If that's what you really want, Karen. Once upon a time I was working a seasonal retail job at a craft store chain. It is important to note that for the purposes of their sales, lighted tree toppers, lighted decorations, string lights, etc., were all separate categories. On this fateful day, lighted tree toppers were on sale for 30% off. The rest of the lighted decor on that aisle was not. The sales were very clearly marked and the sections designated clearly, as well as the category printed on the package itself. It is even listed in the email that Karen was using to present her coupon. Karen approaches my register with her tree topper. The register recognizes the discounts and applies them automatically in most instances, this being no exception. The 30% applies itself. Your total will be $18.90. Karen then presents her 20% off coupon. I'm sorry, ma'am. This coupon is not applicable to sale items. Those aren't on sale. The lights aren't on sale this week. I show the copy of our sale bulletin on my counter. I apologize for the confusion, ma'am. This actually falls under the tree topper category. You'll see here it's 30% off. I won't be able to apply the coupon, but you will be getting the already discounted sale price. I am telling you I don't want any sale. You are going to take my coupon. I should probably mention she was in at least once weekly, yelled about sales and coupons every single time, and then declared she was never coming back. Only to be back the following week to do the same. Ma'am. I would have to manually override the sale price and apply the coupon manually as well. Then do it. I'm telling you it is not on sale and I am using my coupon, or I am reporting you. Yes, ma'am. If you insist. I got visual confirmation from my supervisor in the way of a hand signal we used to mean, go ahead. She was not too happy when I did exactly as she demanded, and her total came to $21.60. You're stealing from me. I demand to speak to a manager. I'm never coming back here again. My shift supervisor had been on the next register over the whole time to combat the afternoon rush. That's how she managed to give the visual approval in the moment. She took great joy herself in telling Karen, you have the exact discounted price you demanded. You can pay it or leave. Oh, you're never coming back. Do you promise? Karen paid her $21.60 with her head hung. She was back next week. Grad student told me to do things their way. So here's the context. Some years ago I worked at a cruise ship doing souvenir photography. It was my second summer there and we had a new manager that year that was finishing her master's in photography, standard, not digital. Pay was based on a group split commission, so if the day photographers did terrible but the night photographers did amazing, the day photographers benefited and vice versa. My first year, the owner stopped by to train us and gave us specific instructions on how we should photograph guests and why we should be doing it, and saw an increase in sales as a result of it. The owner has been doing it for years and ran multiple locations, so I just listened and did what I was told. Fast forward to year 2, we have this new manager who had not been trained yet, but only received basic instructions and was told to defer to the returning employees for things she didn't understand. For the first couple of weeks it was fine. Slow start to the season, so sales of course weren't crazy. Come week 5 when night crews start, I noticed that myself and my only male coworker are both only being scheduled for mornings. At first I thought, whatever, free at night, no big deal. I figured since the new manager was working with a returning employee things would be okay for commission on the night cruise days. First week of night cruises goes by, and I notice I made drastically less than last year for the amount of hours I worked. I checked the sales spreadsheet, every employee needed to update this at the end of their shifts, and noticed that day sales were the same as night sales. I ran up to the ticket office to check the passenger list for the days they ran night cruises, assuming there just weren't many passengers. Not only were there way more passengers at night than during the day, but I noticed way more waste. Second week, I have a split shift that overlaps with the manager. She pulls me to the side at the beginning of the shift and explains her expectations for photos. She shows me an example of hers and then shows me one I took. She told me that the way I took photos was unacceptable and I had to shoot them the way she did. These photos, by the way, get put into 8x6 sheets and small wallet-sized photos. Her photo was highly technical, let's say. The entire top half of the photo was negative space and showing off the location. Yeah, sure, I kind of got what she was saying because I was in school for photography too. Too bad we're selling pictures of people and not space. I explained to her that myself and my coworkers have been shooting the way the owner himself instructed us to, and she said, "I'm the manager here, not you. I don't know what he told you to do, and that's not what we're doing. Do it the way I tell you to, okay?" The third week, I explained to my coworker that this is what the manager wanted, and he was confused as well. So we do it. We take these photos where the passengers are barely visible in the wallet photos and half of the photos are negative space. Sales plummeted to no surprise from anyone but the manager and owner. I got a phone call from the owner asking if there were fewer passengers or something, and told him that it was normal. He asked why sales were down at night as well, to which I told him I had no idea because I was never scheduled to work at night anymore. He wasn't sure how to take that, but we left it at that. The next week, the owner called me to inform me that the new manager had agreed to mutually terminate her employment there, and then asked why we were having so much trouble. I told him everything she told us to do and that scheduling was bad since it left us understaffed for night cruises. It turns out, she was instructed to hire new employees for the season, and she ignored every single applicant because they had no formal photography education. So, basically, knowing full well it would hurt sales to not tell the owner that the manager just wasn't good at sales photography, I just waited until she got in trouble for turning up losses because she pulled, "You do what I say, I don't care." Sorry, Jay. You want me to charge you the real price? You got it, chief. Sorry, this one is quite long as there needs to be some context before I start telling this story. TLDR will be at the end. Context, which plays quite an important role in this MC. Until February a few months ago, I used to work at this really old school gas station. What I mean by old school is that every task/chores in the station had to be done manually, and these three were essentially the most important ones. Put gasoline in people's cars. This had to be done by me because the only way to start the pumps was to activate them with a magnetic chip. Also, as I said, nothing was automatic, so if someone wanted to put, let's say, $40 worth of gas, I had to check the pump constantly as it filled the car to make sure it wouldn't go over the desired amount. For reference, modern gas stations where I live let you pick the amount you want on the pumps, then automatically stop when it has been reached. Unrelated MC, some people would insist on putting the quantity of gas they wanted themselves, and I always told them sure, whatever, but make sure to stop at the right amount, otherwise you'll have to pay for what you put in your car even if it's more than you wanted. Spoiler alert, they almost never stopped on time and would always get upset at me for not stopping it before. My answer would always be, A, you can either pay and we're all happy because I told you to check what you were doing, or B, you leave without paying, but in exchange I call the police on you for gas theft. Let's say that 95% of the time they'd choose option A. Changing the gas prices. As I said previously, the pumps were quite old, probably dating from the 80s, and that meant changing the digits for the price on the pumps one at the time. If the price was 131.9 and I needed it to be at 129.7, I'd have to put it to 131.7 first, then 139.7 and finally to 129.7, one pump at the time. I had to do this for 6 pumps. So overall, you could say that these pumps were quite crappy to work with. That was the first part of this task. The second one was changing it on the sign. To do so, I'd have to take this little machine, plug it in the sign, then repeat the same steps I did on the pumps. Note that all this was done outside, which can be quite the pain in the A when it's minus 40 degrees Celsius. Yay Canadian weather, LOL. Calculating how much gas was sold between the price changes. As you've probably guessed it by now, this was done manually too. To make this short, this was also super annoying to do, because I had to calculate the amount of $/dollars sold with a calculator, but I also had to make sure the cash register balanced while serving a ton of customers. This was done at least 2 times a night, and sometimes it could be as much as 4, so we had to make sure the register balanced from the previous price changes every time, or we could not keep track of how much gas was sold. Now the story. It happened around 3 years ago on a really busy night while I was in the middle of rush hour. My superior had called me to tell me to change the price from $1.309 per liter to $1.259 per liter. Okay, cool, this isn't a problem. I always do this kind of stuff during rush hour, so in between customers, I change the price on each pumps. But since the machine for the sign is still inside the station, I don't have the time to go just yet and leave the sign at $1.309 per liter. Note that the pumps are now at $1.259, so customers are actually paying less than what the sign says. This is one of the few tips our manager gave us and encouraged us to do. If the price was going down, we would always change the pump's price first, then the sign, and if the price was going up, we'd do the opposite. This way, it'd look like as if we were undercharging the customers, because the sign was always at higher price than the pumps. The reason we did this was to avoid rush hour becoming even worse than it already was. If the customers saw the price on the sign go down, they would rush to the station even more, and that'd leave me no time to balance the register, which had to be done right away anytime there was a price change. I know this may not be the best practice, but it helped us a lot because we always worked alone. Although we shouldn't have been, my manager's boss was a cheapskate and wouldn't let him hire more employees. So now that the price has been changed, I keep on doing my thing and try to balance the register as fast as I can so I can put the right price on the sign. Everything's going fine, and then at some point I get this one guy. I put the amount he asks for in his car, it was something like $40, and give him his receipt, and that's when he starts complaining and yelling at me. He says that the price on the receipt, $1.259, so actual price, doesn't match the sign. So I proceed to explain to him that I changed the price on the pumps first, and that if he looks at them he'll see that the price on the receipt matches them. All should be good now, right? Nope. Now he tells me that I'm trying to steal from him and that I changed the price on the pumps after I gave him the receipt. I tell him that this is not possible as I am in the middle of a rush and that the pump's price have to be changed manually one by one. He doesn't want to hear it and keeps yelling that I'm overcharging him for gas. Cue the MC. So I tell him, "Alright sir, you think I'm trying to steal from you? Then come inside and have a look at the security cameras. I'm telling you there's literally no way I'd have the time to change the price." He still doesn't want to. Now he wants to leave without paying because I'm not charging him the right price and yells even more than before. Okay, cool, I'll charge you the right amount then. So I go get my calculator and start calculating. The real price being $1.259 per liter. I check how many liters that is by doing 40/1.259, which amounts to around 31.77 liters. I'm right next to the pump with him and I tell him, look, even the numbers on the pump match, in hope he'll see that I'm not stealing from him. Like modern pumps, you can see the amount of cash you're paying and the amount of gas that's going in your car while you fill it. Nope, still doesn't want to hear it. Alright then, here it goes, 31.77 L asterisk $1.309 per liter. Sir, you owe me $41.58, not $40. That's when he gets really mad and gets in his car ready to leave. So I gently tell him, sir, you're gonna have to pay or I'm calling the police. The look on his face just changed from angry to defeated in half a second. Dude ended paying $41.58, told me he'd make a complaint to my manager and that he'd never come back to the gas station because we were thieves. Joke's on him, I knew my manager would side with me and dismiss the complaint. By the way, I worked there for 5 years and this was the first and only time a client ever complained about the price being lower than shown on the sign. Most of them would just avoid telling me so I wouldn't charge them the price displayed on the sign. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.